I was just wondering, what are your thoughts on not playing in front of any fans for that home opener, and how do you think it'll impact the team as a whole?
Yeah, I think, I mean, it stinks because, I know my family wants to be there. I know a lot of guys' families, want to be there and just like we want the fan base there in general. But, um, and I think it'll, you know, significantly impact like how the game is played and how the momentum shifts, things like that. So, personally, I think that that like whatever team comes out with the most energy, most momentum will do really well in the game, and that's what we're trying to do right now. Is even in because we had a little bit of a when we practicing quiet and things like that without obviously music or any fans there anyway. Like trying to bring energy in those spaces to kind of prepare ourselves for the first game and things like that. So it's a bummer, but a game's a game, and we're ready to play anyway, and we're ready to get after it.
And in comparison to last year, what improvements have you seen on the defensive line as a whole?
Yeah, there's been a lot of improvements on the defensive line. Obviously, we have kind of a young group overall, but just the strides guys have taken have been remarkable. Like, I'll shout out DT, Dejon Terry, and Marcus Harris. Did a really good job in the offseason, just working hard. DT losing some weight, Marcus just getting stronger. And I think we've all done a lot of things just in this off time when there wasn't a lot of structured kind of like practice time and like the summer and the spring to kind of do stuff on our own with whatever we were given to kind of like keep advancing ourselves throughout the off season and into this season. I think that has really helped us and helped us come together as a group, and just trying to make all the small things right now and trying to roll into the season.
Hey Sam, the redshirt rule was not redshirt, eligibility rule was kind of put into action recently to basically, at least our understanding, give anyone who wants it kind of an extra year. I know it's before the season, very early, but is that something you think you would want to take advantage of?
Yeah, and I've thought about this a little bit too, and I honestly, I'll just tell you that it just depends on what happens. It depends on what God puts on my heart at that time, and if we do, depends on if we do really well. It depends on how the season goes, but I'm not gonna give a definite answer at this time, but just I'm just gonna let my faith and God kind of steer me to wherever that kind of goes at that point in time at the end of the season.
Hey, you mentioned there's kind of a lot of youth on the defensive line. Who are some of the defensive linemen you've seen be productive at practices and scrimmages the past couple of weeks?
Yeah, so obviously like Caleb Sampson, Malcolm Lee, kind of being older guys, they've been really just firing on all cylinders, really doing well. Like I said earlier, Marcus Harris has really kind of stood out to me as an up-and-coming guy, just really doing a lot of things right, doing a lot of, took the time in the offseason to really prepare his body for this season, and despite all the chaos and all the stuff like that. But I've also seen, Jeremy Robinson come in out of his gray shirt year and really also developed his body well. And has, is learning things, we're all start learning things when we start getting into camp, and he's picked up things pretty quick, and has been doing really well in the scrimmages too. I would also say, like, I've seen a lot of good stuff from Keenan Caldwell, true freshman, just coming in here, listening really well, and adapting really well and doing really well with his reps in scrimmages too. So honestly, just all around, I've been really impressed with our group and our guys, and really excited to see what we can do.
As you all kind of reviewed last year, what were maybe some of the weaknesses on the D-line or things that you all needed to address heading into this year?
Yeah, I think a couple things were just cohesiveness of the group, and that comes just from bonding together. Was one thing that we really wanted to focus on this year, is just coming together as a group, because that's important just overall. And other things are just kind of technical things between like, we're wanting to work on our releases and more attacking off the ball and things like that. So there's definitely like some larger things, like I said, like, coming together as a group, being more cohesive, being more, unified and working together rather than working separately. But then there are also just some technical things that obviously, need to be addressed and improved for this next season to really do well.
Hey, Sam, being a defensive tackle and playing inside and you guys up front, the strength in conditioning is such a big thing. What was that like, the challenges over the summer and the off season with COVID? Did that play into it, that was tougher to get done?
Yeah, it played into it a little bit. I think everyone could agree that where we were at the start of camp wasn't where we would like to be, just overall, just strength-wise, conditioning-wise, especially in the D line room. But we've had some. I was really impressed with just our group with, and being in contact over that time period with just seeing how they were kind of adapting to the situation of, finding gyms here or finding a weight room there. I know a couple of them had buddies that had like a home gym and they used that. And so, it isn't as obviously as good as we would like it to be, and I think that it just goes around the country. I didn't feel as strong as I wanted to be coming into the season or conditioned, but here we are. But I think that we adapted really well as a unit. I won't speak on the whole team, but I think overall we did a good job. But just as a unit, I think that we did a good job of adapting to our situation and trying to prepare ourselves for the best that we could with what we had. But yeah.
And then in practice, obviously, you're lining up against Oppie, Maine. And what has the competition been there like, and what have you seen from the offensive line?
Yeah, no, it's been fun, especially lining up with Oppie. We go at it every day, and it's always a blast. But he's helped me, and I'll talk about him for a second. But he's helped me just individually. I think we help each other, just sharpen each other's skills and things like that, telling each other tips and things. But as the O-line overall, I think that we have a really strong unit. I've been really impressed with them just overall, battling back and forth with us. I think they're going to be really good. They're really disciplined, and I'm excited to see what they can do too.
Hey, Sam, this is Karen Kornacki. Just back to the measure of battling COVID. It's one thing to be with your teammates, where they are, how responsible they are, but now you're going to be facing another team. You have no idea how they've prepared for this. You have no idea how disciplined they are. You're going to be on the line, breathing on each other, bleeding on each other, sweating on each other. Is there any trepidation at all because of this pandemic to actually be in a game against another team when you know nothing about the way they've trained?
Yeah, I think there's a little bit of, just uncertainty with, their protocols or anything like that. But I do know that, they have to follow the Big 12's protocols with, coronavirus testing, just like we are leading up to this game. And so, while there is a little bit of uncertainty, we do have that kind of safeguard. And so, I'm just trusting with what the health officials say, and trusting their guidelines, and hopefully, it all works out for the best.
And one other thing, just how do you prepare for different time frames? Like when you play 11 in the morning, and then this time it's going to be 9 o'clock at night. Is there a way you adjust to every week it bouncing around, and especially starting off with such a late kickoff?
Yeah, so that's an interesting one. I never thought I'd play a game at kind of 9 p.m., but it's whatever we adjust and things like that. So I think me personally, and I think what we'll try to do as D-line and whatever, is just try to change our sleep schedules leading up to the game. I think that's really all you can do is try to get as much sleep as you can, but try to adjust your sleep schedule according to, when we're playing and things like that. Personally, I like to go to bed early, so that's going to be kind of hard, but I think, it'll be manageable and it'll be something that we'll get done as a team and try to make the best of it.
Thank you.
No problem.
Sam, you talked about, some of the risks and managing some of the risks of playing with COVID. Why did you personally decide to go through and play this season?
Yeah, so me personally, we felt this as a D-line is like we try to do so much in the off season, try to do so much just trying to, like I said, adapt to our situation and work through it that me personally, like I just felt like I had put in too much work with in this off season for whatever I could do to not have a season. I feel like it would have just been like, what did I do all that for? What did I work around all those corners and things like that for if we didn't have a season? So I think personally as a D-line group, that's kind of how we felt, is that we had put in too much work in just that time for, a season not to have